Yo, what up? This is another episode of the Delete Kings podcast. I go by the name of Ty, aka Delete King 850. We got a full house today. I invited, Khalil. He's a very, very talented artist that I've worked with for a long, long time. He joining the team. We gonna do many podcasts with him as well. We got Bright back in the building. And Talonda, introduce, our guest for real. What does he do before, he can introduce himself, but let the
Yes, GK Harmony. He does Airbnb. He's an Airbnb host. Today we're going to get into more how he got started, what's his future plans, and just his background in general.
So long story short, man, we just gonna get into it. We wanna kinda understand a little bit more about the Airbnb game from the experts, some people that's doing it in real life that can tell us the ups and downs, and just like we got some funny stories here and there, and just get into it. We only got about an hour, so however
Yes.
long we got in here, man, it took us like an hour to set up, but I appreciate everybody being patient. Solana, what are you curious about with the Airbnbs?
Well, I'm into property management, so
Yeah, that's how we met.
yeah, that's how we met. So we had an interesting conversation. I was intrigued how he got started and how he just pursued it without giving up. Let's talk about how you got started.
So basically, a little bit of background. I have a music background.
Oh,
So
see, I didn't know that.
yeah, like between 2015 and pretty much last month, I ran a recording studio. I built it from the ground up with a few of my homies. I ended up taking on the whole thing by myself in like 2018, and from 2018 to 2023, I grew a team, and we expanded the business. Ended up moving up north, but then I ended up shutting it down. But I say that because there was a time during the growth of that space where it's like I had to keep improving, had to keep adding things, adding new microphones, changing the paint color, all these different things that's design related. And so what ended up happening was, as the artists kept coming through, they kept like, I got addicted to this phrase. They would say, man, this place look better every time I come. This place look better every time I come. And everybody would say that. Like you would think that they got together in a group chat, and but I kind of got addicted to that feeling. And so it got to a point where the space was done. It was nothing that needed to be done, any further. So even though it was there, I kind of still wanted that feeling. And then I got the opportunity. I started researching Airbnb.
Pause before you continue.
Yes, please.
Because
What happened?
we got some similarities in the room, you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So if I'm comprehending you correctly, you done built like a studio atmosphere for like artists, like independent artists to grow up, and like
Yeah.
CVO know a thing or two about that. I know you know a thing or two about like building your own studio. So I kind of want to break it down to see what are the similarities real quick.
Yeah.
Were you like a one-man team when you did that, or?
At the point where I grew it, yeah. So I started it off with with like three of my other homies. It was four of us. So we decided like, hey, let's do. We was like 21. Let's come together, make a studio. We found a space, 400 West 76th Street at the Stewart Business Center. We got together, put our little 250 together. The rent was 1,000, and we got into it. And then eventually they, ended up, doing other ventures. So I had to make a decision on whether or not it would fail then, or would I, keep it going. And then I kind of taught myself Facebook ads, because it's like, I'm gonna need to be able to bring some extra funds coming in. So I taught myself marketing, taught myself Facebook ads, and use Facebook ads to bring on a whole team of artists that we were able to kind of like go from this one small space to like a whole 3 studio podcast room facility space. So it was dope being able to build a team like that.
Yeah, that is dope.
Now with that, like as far as building your team, like did you have any like I want to say problems in the beginning of like your team? You know what I'm saying? This is your you have your idea of what you're trying to do for your company, how you trying to structure it. Now, when you got your team, did you have any problem kind of like shaping them the idea, or were they able to grasp everything? You know what I'm saying, and follow your lead?
Yeah, I mean, with that whole process, I was learning as I go. Majority of the type of things that I had going on was out of necessity. Like I see an issue arise because we now have so many people that we need to come up with systems and all these things. So I had to sit down and come up one by one. But it wasn't more so, I say it's a team, but we were more so like a collective. Everybody came in there and did their own thing. So they would pay me monthly, and then they would utilize the full facility as their facility, and you know, have their sessions and do they little artistry and creativity, and you know, I stay out of it. Now we did have like times where I tried to bring us together, like let's have a group jam day where we'll all just take this one day, not take sessions, and just create and see what we all come with as a team, because we had a full facility where we had the videographer and all of that stuff too. But outside of that, it was really just I made a space for kind of like this where everybody could come and utilize the space for whatever they wanted to, where they weren't bound under like what I was trying to do or anything like that.
That's dope. CVO has a similar space with a collective of people. I ain't gonna speak for him, but like, you know, he has some similar. It was like a lot of people, you said, and then, you know, some people weren't on the same page over time.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's how it really goes.
It really, you know what I'm saying, like we had a group of, I want to say 8 individuals, but like big identities. So instead of it doing it like that, we came to all of us together came and made our own space, got our own space to feed to the public, you know, for videographers and rappers to shoot in a space that was new to them, to do different things. You know what I'm saying? We had gun walls, a whole bunch of other stuff. So we did that, and then once we got to our peak as far as eight bosses, it kind of, you know, like everyone started to part ways.
Yeah, in what ways though?
It was kind of multiple. Some people just had different opportunities. One of our guys moved to Atlanta because he had opportunity out there. One of the guys had moved to Cali because he just wanted to live in Cali.
Right.
And then a couple other people just kind of like their motivation for the spot left. They weren't really trying to recreate stuff, do new things, and really put their all into it. There was more like, oh, I could bring some ladies here, look at my spot. Right. Do my thing, do what they need to, leave it a mess.
Hey man, you can keep it all the way real, man.
You
ain't naming no names.
No, I'm not. But like,
you can let them know.
Real,
you know what I'm saying? It got bad. I'm talking to the point where it was like, shit, it was just disgusting. Like we cut our whole team in half just because of that, just because of all the bullshit that was going on within the team and people that are supposed to be bosses, that are supposed to be, you know, you're a big identity. You're supposed to be putting your all into this as well.
Yeah.
You over there fucking off for, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah, and those are the things that, you know, I had to deal with as well. But I feel like that's why it's like I felt like it was a previous time where maybe, you know, we would have faced those issues and probably could have broken up. But I feel like, you know, that's the reason we kind of like disbanded this year versus like years ago, because it's like I tried to tackle those problems as much as I could. But at a certain point, you know, I feel like I realized that, you know, I had a vision for the space, you know, but I brought in a lot of people and we did a lot of great things and they did a lot of great things, but I had to understand that they had their own vision. And so because they had their own vision, it's only so far that the space can go as a collective before everybody uses the space to push themselves further enough to where we have to disband this, because everybody is reaching their own individual things now. And I understood that. I don't consider that, like I say closed it down, but I don't consider it a loss because I feel like we accomplished what we needed to accomplish and we grew, you know, but you are going to have those growing pains that you got to make a decision, and it sounds like you had to do the same thing.
100%. I definitely don't see our warehouse as an L. Like, we had memorable moments in there. Big people come in there from Mellow Buck doing the Mouse Couture in there, to Twista doing his song Glocks, to Montana 300, everybody just coming in there just literally like shooting it because what we brought to, you know what I'm saying, to the culture as far as Chicago, because there's not many production spaces and there's not many like at that big or that level. We had 6,000 square feet of straight production. Yeah. So we were literally, even when we didn't have, just having 6,000 square feet of open, you know what I'm saying, warehouse space. Yeah. Try to pull the cars in there, try to do this, whatever we could. So I definitely, you know what I'm saying,
like a peer space.
Like that we had. We literally had it on peer space. And we making like $40,000 a month at one point. Talking smacking peer space, cause like we had the hottest shit. Like as soon like our best thing was the gun wall. We had a gun wall, looked really good.
I might have seen y'all.
Bro, yeah, I promise you, it's been everywhere.
I might have seen y'all space before.
Once we had that up and had everything together, we were just racking. Cause think about it, Chicago's for that violence, so we kind of shaped it to be, you know what I'm saying? Oh, you want to be with the guns? Well, we got a bazooka on the wall. Like, you know what I'm saying? Come shoot with the bazooka.
Real life production space.
It definitely went where it was. Now we're on the real building space, making it better than ever. Trying to do it right this time, better. better partners and just really
sure.
push it the way it should be. You know what I'm
For
saying?
Yo, yeah, and Bright, you said you was like the quarterback for your team, and then I think 2020 he got some. You got some artists under you, Khalil?
I got producers under me.
Right. Talk about your experience. Like, does any of this sound familiar with
So
you?
yeah, it sounds extremely familiar, man. Like I'm the youngest here. So as I'm hearing you guys speaking y'all stories, it's like, okay, these are the things that I literally thought about for my future.
Yeah.
But you guys already lived that experience. So as I'm sitting here, I'm like, okay, that's what happened when you wanted to set up your studio space. And that's what happened when you want to set up your space. So now I'm thinking about it like, okay, so now how do I better tackle on this, this goal that I have for
Going
myself?
into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I still have producers by my side. I have artists by my side. I have, UV producers by my side, And as we all want to come collective as a whole, I do see some values that come within each other where it could fail simply off just hearing what y'all said.
Yeah.
So it just pretty much gave me like,
Did you feel that
I felt
in
that.
the beginning? No.
No, I definitely felt that. Like as you was talking about it, even prior when we was talking about it before, I was like, oh man, that's somebody that like already been through it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, what I can say is, bro, like these are our experiences, but the opportunity is still there. You know what I'm saying? To make something, you just got to be creative with the solutions that you bring to the table. Like he had his space, I had my space, but I had a specific niche that I was trying to go towards. I didn't really want to go towards the big people. Like, I didn't want to have no really big names. People, first thing they could do when they come to a recording studio, they say, who recorded here? I kind of didn't want to be in that conversation. I wanted to, because the best talent are the underdogs, the people that nobody knows, the people who come. I done seen, man, it's people that I still listen to in my playlist to this day that I recorded myself, but nobody else knows this. I want to focus on those people. But, it kind of, the story played out how it played out, but that was just my niche. You got to figure out, if you got the opportunity, if you got people around you, figure out how you can, make that a win-win situation for everybody, because that's really the challenge that nobody seems to be able to do long term.
Yeah.
It might be 4 months, 6 months, 4 years, but how do you put, you got to come up with that. That's the big boss. That's the big boss question.
Systems in place to keep it longevity in
exactly. And create mutual value in it for everybody. Because in my case, I came in the door thinking like, yeah, I'm finna lead us to this. We gon' I'm gonna go find the bag and I'm gonna bring it to the team, but the team trying to find their own bag. So how do you pour into that and pour into yourself and have them pour into you all these abstract questions?
So everybody got to have an assignment.
Yeah, but everybody got to want to be assigned something, because everybody's on their own assignment. Everybody got their own. Everybody CEOs of their own shit they got going on. Can we curse on here? They own stuff they got going on in their head,
Yeah.
Absolutely. So after that happened, that's when you decided to go into Airbnb, since it didn't work out.
Yeah.
Because I just wondered, it sounded like it was a passion. So I'm just trying to see how you switched from a passion, where you're looking for passive income as well, and just said,
I mean, I said the whole studio thing to say, like, that's where, one, I got my first taste of real business experience from, but two, that's when I found out, like, okay, I like music. Music is always gonna be my nucleus, but this design thing, this designing thing is really kind of also what kind of, it's like an unscratchable itch that I got. So at a certain point, it was like, the studio is done. I'll let that breathe. I'll let that live. It was fully functional, fully sustainable on its own. I have time now to move towards something else. And then that's when the Airbnb thing came on my radar. And so actually I found out, I did research about it by just YouTube. Like, I watched the Earn Your Leisure podcast, and I was doing a lot of research, but it wasn't until I watched this one Earn Your Leisure podcast that I decided to jump off the porch with it. It was this.
what year was that?
This was like 2021.
Okay.
I think I started.
Perfect
No,
time.
I think I started December 2022. I don't know. I only been doing this like 2 years, so it might have been 2021 December. But I was watching this Earn Your Leisure podcast, and I was already on the fence, like, should I do it? Should I not? And it was this chick, I forget her name, but they asked her, like, So from the time that you posted your first listing, like you pressed the post button, how long after that did you get your first listing? And she was like 24 hours. And I'm like, yeah, you know, that's BS. You know what I'm saying? Like, but then he must have been reading my mind because he was like, nah, this BS. So like for the people in the back, go ahead.
Man, I got some for that. Like, no cap, I just started a car rental business. And I was like, okay.
Turo or what?
No, yeah, Turo. So I was like, what's the best car I could use that nobody really got?
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? Chevy Trax. It's only one other person that got that car. I get the Chevy Trax. I sprayed the rims black. I put some calipers, red calipers on there, tinted all up, make it look pretty. Took the picture right at the right moment, and I tell you, first hour of keeping that posted, I got a booking. Next
Yeah.
day,
Wow.
another booking. Next day, another booking.
But
Amazing.
what made you step off the porch with it though? Because you put it on there and then you got a booking. But what made you take that risk? Want to take the risk of getting that car?
I
And
mean,
doing all that
like,
stuff because that's an upfront investment.
Let me pause you before you answer that, because I love when, you know, people selling all these ebooks about how to do like Turo, but I think I told one of us, like, the first step is just get into it. Like,
Yeah.
for real. I probably told that to you
Yeah.
where it's like, well, how do you do this? Well, you just sort of start. Like, yeah, there's some things that you kind of want to figure out to learn from some mistakes, but with Turo is really as simple as go grab a car off the lot, take some dope ass photos. Because I didn't even get back from the dealership with my car before it got booked.
But what car did you have though?
It was just a regular Accord, like it was a regular
A Honda
little
Accord,
brand new 2022.
But that's an everyday car though.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah,
That's a
economy
car
joint.
that people gonna book.
Exactly. I walked
know?
in there like no money down. It cost me an inquiry. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So drove off the lot. I couldn't even get home. It was like a 50-minute drive home.
Yeah.
Boom. I'm like, damn, I ain't even put the tracker in there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I
for
ain't
sure.
even put the tracker in there. So I had some trackers and I just like stuffed the tracker that you ain't got hardwired in it.
Yeah.
So I stuffed the backup tracker, but I couldn't really like, you know, do it. But there was a tracker in there on the first rental, but like, you know, it was damn near nighttime under the gas station lights, took all the pictures, and I'm like telling her, hey, you the first rental now. I got 50 miles on it. Like, hey, just be mindful of the rims, don't scratch or whatever. Like, but yeah, the hack to like figuring out Turo. I mean, yeah, it's sort of like just diving into it.
Yeah.
But what made you want to get that Honda though?
I knew it was an economy joint. It was just like it's a layup, you know, like
Yeah.
like
So you didn't go into it blindly.
yeah.
You did your research.
Right. I had
know?
some people that motivated me to start big. With like the previous year, I was definitely trying to just get a whole bunch of like,
Exotics.
I asked BMO for like $400,000, like right out the jump. Everybody talking about the 4 cars, 1 inquiry play, but it's just like, yeah, they're gonna ask you for some docs. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially you just open up a bank account with them, so it's like you can start big. Like I have a vlog on my channel that really like shows I was influenced and inspired by some people. He had a Corvette, he had a Tahoe, he had a Lexus, an I8. You know what I'm saying? All of that. I'm like, yo, I can really do this. Like I can really do it big.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But you know, you trying to go so big that it could be procrastinating. It's like, you know what? Just get into it. It's not gonna cost you nothing but an inquiry.
Yeah, I feel like it's a
like
fine line. It's like a balance that you gotta have. Like, you know, the jump off the porch, don't waste, don't hesitate. But and also that research that you did, you know what I'm saying? Because it's easy to pick that wrong car. Like I done seen it on both ends on the Airbnb and the Turo space. I done seen some horror stories.
Yeah.
On that part, man, look, I was like, skip it. I'm gonna give me a Camaro. I'm gonna put my Stang on there, my own personal car.
Yeah.
You know, that's my baby. You know, like I'm young. I was 17 when I got that car. I put the Stang on there. It got nothing. It got
The Kia Stinger?
no, my Mustang.
Oh, Mustang.
It's like blacked out, murdered out. Like he really
Blacked outside. I even put it on there for cheap. Just somebody experience it.
Hey,
$65.
Has it been 7 days?
Nah, it hasn't been
Let it
7
breathe.
days.
Let it breathe. It's
But-
like usually at least once a week. Like literally while we was here, Buddy just extended like 5 more days. You know what
On
I'm
the
saying?
Honda Accord.
He got the Honda. Yeah.
Oh, that's
You
what's
got
up.
more than the Honda Accord?
Nah, I got another economy joint. I got the Vet on there, and then you know it's growing. We're growing really fast.
Yeah.
You know.
But
So which one is the most? Which one is
This
doing the
Honda
best?
keep going out.
That's what I'm
And I'm
saying.
about to grab another
That's
Honda.
why, bro.
it's the economy.
like
you
you have
need
to-
the
you need-
economy.
But
It's
I ain't
like
gonna
when you
lie,
rent a
it's
car.
it's definitely markets for exotic cars, but that Honda,
Yeah.
that's that car. You like when he says, yeah, just get into it. You get into it with the Honda. You know what I'm saying? you know,
That's
For
real.
sure.
That's real. Man, I would have known that Chevy Trax would have got booked out every day. Like the first day I got it, you know.
Yeah.
But it's really all about starting. And you talking about Airbnb, you know, after I got done with that, I was like, you know what? Let me try Airbnb arbitrage. You know,
Yeah.
let me just grab a couple rental properties, rent them out, and just see how it goes before I even get my first ownership property.
yeah.
You know,
You're doing
So what
your
happened?
research.
like I literally just thought about that yesterday.
Oh yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah,
all right,
yeah.
well, I got the
Yeah.
money. Let me.
I mean, look, I ain't gonna lie, I didn't have the money. Like I said,
So you started with no money?
I started with money, but I used all of my money. Like I used everything and still needed it. But I watched that lady and she said 24 hours and the earn your leisure dude was like, nah, for the people in the trenches, you know what I'm saying? Like how long? And she was like, she looked at him, 24 hours. And I'm like, I'm doing it. You know, I'm gonna do it. Now,
So come on, tell me about your first Airbnb. How you
When I-
started, what you did.
when I first got my first Airbnb, what I did was, you know, they said first you could, you know, do the arbitrage. So they say first you got to find a landlord willing to let you do it. And so I got on Zillow and like I was getting ready to find an actual apartment. And then after that, I just started doing a whole bunch of apartment tours. Like I was, you know, an actual tenant, and I was leveling with the people. Like, hey, what's going on? With giving them, you know, filling them out. And then what ended up happening was I ended up taking a lot of their numbers, and the first guy I called, he said, yeah, you know,
The first guy.
the first guy I called. Now that wasn't the first guy I seen, but the first guy I called back and pitched him. He said, yeah. Which is crazy because everybody after that said no.
Why do you think he said yeah?
Because he was a businessman too. He was like us. He was like he was able to see the vision of what I had. You know, he was talking to me about bigger pockets, about things that people in the circle talk about. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So he knew, you know, we was on the same page, and he need tenants. You know, so he gave me a chance. He like, I didn't even know Airbnb was a thing over here. I'm like, yeah, I did my research. The market is here. I'm ready. I got the money. Now, what I didn't say was I had a partner going into my first deal.
Okay.
I met my first partner was actually a client at the studio because I didn't have enough money. I knew I would need help to do it. So I got him, convinced him. We went in on that deal. We went half and paid the rent. That was all the money out of our pocket.
Had to
snap.
furnish it.
We
Furniture.
needed to still furnish the place.
Yeah.
I had the studio at that time. I got the furniture from the studio. I had a little small personal room. I took all my stuff out. I was sleeping on a air mattress. Put the stuff in there, and he got some stuff from his crib from a storage. I had some motivational pictures. I put that up on the wall. And we posted
that's
it.
unique.
We had a full size bed. We didn't even have a queen bed. We just
And what's
made
the most you made off that Airbnb alone?
of that one.
That one. If you
It's
can
hard
recall.
to say because it's like, you know, I reinvest all the funds back into the business. So it's like
Okay.
I would have to literally sit down. Like the money passed through my hands so quick because it's going back into the business. But I'll tell you this, I didn't have to pay rent no more after that. You know.
So it
Wow.
paid for itself.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
it
there's
paid for
just
itself.
enough that you can tell that it's a positive experience
Yeah.
overall.
Now, don't get me wrong. You got slow season in Chicago. That's the most brutal time. Slow season is when
Yeah.
you're going to tell if you played your cards right in the summertime because you should be able to have money.
Do you get your Airbnbs based off that? Like you pre-plan the area with the seasons and activities?
Yeah,
or
so you
just-
literally can just literally go to Airbnb. They have tools. They got this thing called Air DNA where you can go and do your market research and see what an area is
Okay. making
for Airbnb, you know, the nightly rates and stuff like that. But you
Mm-hmm.
can literally just break out the Airbnb app and go to Airbnb and go to a specific area. And if you see a property and it has 100 reviews, you know money's flowing through that area. If you see
Right.
4
Yeah.
properties with 100 reviews, it's a no-brainer, you know. Only thing that matters at this point is if you can put a competitive listing in the marketplace in that area.
No, it's what's kind of funny. One of my guys that I know, he got I think 2 Airbnbs right now, but he got one, and it's downtown, and it's getting booked out pretty well just because of how that Airbnb looks. He got a Versace themed Airbnb, so like. People are just booking it just to look good. People are booking it as far as for videos and this, that. But, like, literally, he structured it where, oh, you can book these other regular ones and they look good. You come over here, look like a little star real quick. I got some Versace. We got Versace on the floor, Versace on the sheets. Versace, you know what I'm saying? Like, everywhere. But it's like, he really captured the audience attention. You know what I'm saying? The first thing you see is, bow, big-ass Versace rug. Like, oh, what place is this? It makes you want to click on it just because of all the shit that's in there. You know what I'm saying? So as long as, like, you know, the pictures or whatever that wow factor is, hit them that first picture. I feel like that's always a go, especially even for Peer Space. Peer Space is almost like Airbnb. Instead of booking it, you know, you're staying there all night. Shit, you staying there for, you know what I'm saying, several hours, whatever. You probably got someone there, probably don't got someone there. You know, it's still almost the same thing. So it's like our wow factor. We was always like, oh, we had fire in our picture. I was like, oh, you know, no, any picture. If you look through warehouses and production spaces through Chicago, you never saw fire. So it was like, well, we finna put fire on them bitches. You know what I'm saying? Throw it on there, and it was getting booked. You know, so it's always. I feel like anything like that, it's always that wow.
Nah, you definitely gonna be able to have success if you have a wow factor. If you're able to have something that stands out. But I feel like also, you know, that's what will bring people through the door, right? You know, you got people at the door. Now you gotta, you know, do something once they get to the door. And a lot of the Airbnb videos that I watched on YouTube, people is like kind of like sounding like that, like, you know, like all you gotta do is do this, do that. That's what I had. That's the mindset I had going into it. But once I got in there, and I started seeing all of these technical things, like the technical things I got to make sense of now. I got to have enough laundry. Like that's kind of what separated, because I had my studio on Peer Space and it was doing all right. It wasn't doing what what your space was doing, but it was doing all right, you know what I'm saying? But what I didn't have to account for with my studio getting booked out was towels, having enough sheets. The sheets dirty. You got to keep you washing every single day. I got 4 units. You know, so it's like, and one of them is a house. So it's like I got a lot of sheets that need to go in there, a lot of towels. You got to manage that. And at 4 units now, I only had 4 units for 1 month. I got this 4th unit last month. And since I have 4 units now, it's like I was cleaning the spots myself. But since I have 4, it's humanly impossible. So I have to like hire cleaners. I have to like outsource these things. And before that, it was just a lot of technicalities that they did not tell me on YouTube, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Toilet paper, all that extra
Turo
shit.
business, you would encounter the same things, but this is not what they preaching on YouTube though.
They don't tell you that.
So it's not until you get into it and you done spent the money and you like, well, I'm all in. I gotta solve the issues now. You know, I gotta succeed. You know, that's really where I'm at with it.
Answer me this: when is the cold season and how long does it last?
The slow season.
Yeah,
slow season for me. What I usually, with what I've experienced is around like November, December, like December to about March. You know, March is when you should start seeing it go back up, but December is when you start seeing it go down. Like you gotta really count your blessings with them peak seasons, because you'll be fully booked. I'm talking about you'll make about 2 G's each property, and then you'll be like, it's busting. I'm going to get a wardrobe. I'm doing this. I'm about to put a down payment on another crib, and by the time slow season come, you like shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and then something happens. You know, like last year, I got 1,000 stories, but let's just say something like this. Middle of slow season, your tenant calls you and says, I got water pouring out the ceiling, you know? And it's like, nah, bro, you don't got water pouring out the ceiling. And you hear he put the water up to the water, and you hear it like some is like when you turn on the water in the tub and you hear it I'm like, nah, G. You know, it's 1 a.m. What am I gonna do? I had to get up. I had to go over there. I had to refund that man half his stay and still pay for the problem to get fixed, you know?
Yeah.
But that problem's not your cost, though, right? It's the landlord's.
Yeah, it is, but I had a unit upstairs that was the cause. And the deal that I made with the landlord in doing the Airbnb was I have to take care of them. I have to be responsible for the maintenance of this unit. That was one of the things that I negotiated with him. I'm like, in selling him, I'm like, look, we're going to take care of everything. We're going to keep the property in like new condition. We're going to take care of the maintenance up until a certain degree, a certain cost. And, whatever we got to do for you to let us get up in here. So then when it gets to issues like that, that's when we really got to step up,
For sure. I just wanted to mention another good way I found to network with landlords like that to see if they'll do Airbnb for you. Some villages, they have like meetings, business association meetings, and all of the landlords tends to come to there because they want to know what's going on with the neighborhood, what other properties are for sale.
Yeah.
So if you are looking to get into Airbnb, that's a good way to network with landlords. You have to pay a fee yearly to be a part of the association, but you get to
It's
join
still
all
a
of the
good networking
meetings.
experience, yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, say that, what is it called again?
It's a business association, the villages of the community. So I know I attend like South Hollands. I attend their business meetings that they
Right.
have. I kind of know what's going on, keep up to date, and I meet a lot of landlords there.
Right.
So that's
Yeah, I'm
another good
gonna
way.
get more information from that.
Just go to the
about
village
that.
and just say you want to sign up for the business association meetings, and they'll start sending you emails.
Yeah, I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get more of that information before I leave. That's definitely a good idea.
Yes.
What other type of people do you meet there?
A lot of people actually. People that own properties. People that is looking to open their business there. Say for instance, so if you're looking to open a business, they come and see what's the requirements because all of the officers of that village are there at that moment. So that's your time to ask all of the questions you want to if you want to invest in their community.
So you just go to any village and do that?
Yeah, you can. You don't have to live in that village either. Yeah, it's pretty dope.
Yeah, that's cool.
You gotta pay that fee.
How
That's
much
it.
is that fee?
Yeah.
It varies. It
Yeah,
varies.
I ain't gonna lie. I realize it's about the
I'm sure if you go to
it's
Chicago,
about the value you
theirs
trying to
pretty
get
high.
out of it. Like if you ain't finna go in there and put in no work, then it don't make sense to pay that. But if you finna go
Right.
in there and make some deals happen, like
Especially if you're an
it's worth
investor.
it.
That could be lucrative.
It ain't. Yeah, the upfront costs don't matter because you're gonna make it back.
And not only that, they talk about the new laws and stuff like that. It's good for you to know those things
Yeah, of
before
course.
approaching the landlords. You
Of
know,
course.
yeah.
So it's always value that you can get, but you just gotta be able to see it. See the value in it for you.
yeah.
But I think it's value in that though, especially what I'm doing. I definitely need to know more about that.
Okay, so you have a lot of overhead now. Since you have more properties, you say you don't do the cleaning anymore yourself. So you're paying for that and anything else that you.
Yeah, I mean the biggest overhead is pretty much the rent. So besides the rent, you have the utilities, and yeah, you have cleaning costs, but you can pass those cleaning costs down to the guests. But
Right.
what I'm in the process of hiring cleaners like right now as we speak. So
You
it's
never
like,
hired them before?
never hired. Well, I've hired cleaners before, but it was through like services like apps and stuff where you just
What
like
apps?
TaskRabbit. Maybe.
no. So they got this. Well, yeah, TaskRabbit is a good one, but people was trying to like just like extort
Tax.
people. Yeah, like so.
Break it down for the people that's watching and want to kind of.
Like, how much does it cost just to dip your toes?
What would you say
No,
the
so
startup?
yeah,
would be?
like the let's say you're supposed to be able to get a house clean for like $50, and then you charge the guests $100, or what was your experience with those people trying to finesse on TaskRabbit or the cleaners and
Yeah, so like when I first started off, I was charging like $80. My units are pretty small, except for my house. I charge $100 for the house. I think I just lowered it to 90. But you have that cleaning cost. But when you go to hire a cleaner, I used this one service called Turno. It was called Turnover B&B at the time, but they rebranded it to Turno. And what you can do on Turno is they already have cleaners. They have gathered cleaners in your area, and you could basically, it's a whole infrastructure. You sync your calendars with it, and then they will find cleaners in the area. You can choose them, but you pay them by the job. That's what makes it expensive. So they'll come through like, yeah, my Airbnb unit ain't no bigger than this, $90.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pay you, it's a good job, but now it's not sustainable. So now I got to go back to cleaning it myself. So now I was cleaning it myself for a year, and I decided now that I cannot do it, what I learned from one of the mentors that I look at, hire hourly. You got to take on that actual hourly rate. You got to, hire your own staff, create your own cleaning team. So that it's like, I pay my cleaning team $20 an hour, and it's like they have their own things going on where my cleanings is just one of the things that they have. It's not like they totality. So it's like they can rationalize $20 an hour doing that job. I mean, it's just cleaning.
So you pretty much just quick contract. Hey, come clean with me and throw you this.
Yeah.
I just need about 3-4 hours. Woo, woo, woo.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
because the whole cleaning is between 11 and 3. That's check out and check in. But if I'm paying you by the job, then my whole bottom line is gonna be depleted. I'm gonna be working for the cleaners, But if I hire hourly because I have 3 units in the same building, you know what I'm saying? It's like boom, boom, boom. This is a part-time shift, quick part-time shift, $20 an hour. Somebody's gonna do it. Somebody can make sense of that. $20 an hour is not the worst.
Yeah. And also, I know some people with Airbnbs, they pay people to just furnish for them. You do all of that yourself too?
Yeah.
Like interior design?
Yeah, I do all my design myself. I get help from my circle of influence, but I like picking out my pieces one by one. I use Facebook Marketplace to pretty much get all my furniture for all my Airbnbs.
Okay. How is the reviews and feedback going for you? Are you responding to those yourself as well?
Yeah, so
Or-
I have my whole process kind of like automated. So when
Okay.
a guest books, they automatically get a welcome message with the specific details confirming.
You have a team that automated everything for you, or
No, I
just-
did all that stuff
you-
myself.
Okay.
And so once after the first day, it sends them a message like, "Hey, how's everything going? Do you need anything?" When they leave, it asks them, "Is there anything we could have did better?" And that's where I get a lot of my feedback on the improvements that I make in the space because I set it up, but I don't live there. They live there. So by asking them, what can I do better, it kind of helps me to be able to gauge the things that I need.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you had any bad feedback that kind of
Yeah.
you were not
get,
expecting?
You get bad
hear.
feedback, but bad feedback can come from a lot of reasons. You know what I'm saying? Like you can get bad
How do you
feedback.
deal with it?
It's like you gotta just accept your new life, man. You gotta,
If you're not getting bad feedback, then you're not
Yeah,
doing
you're
something
not.
good.
No, you gonna get bad feedback just by the simple fact that humans have preferences. So you may have a harder, more firmer bed, and you may get a guest that complains that it should be softer. You can have a soft bed, and you can get a guest that complains it should be firmer. So it comes with the territory. It's all about for me in my business, it's all about the customer service that I provide that guest during their stay, because no guest is going to be fully satisfied. I mean, every guest cannot be fully satisfied, but it's like as long as I do my job and just make sure I'm generally just accommodating them as best as I can, that's the best I can do.
Okay, so what's your thing then that gets them? What you feel like they're gonna like it? What is your thing?
Well, off back, it's like the design is what generally attracts them. So it's like I try to be as intentional as my budget will allow me to be, but it's the design of the space that's really the first thing that they see. Everything else happens after they decide to book the space based off how good you designed it and how well you took the pictures.
You keep refreshments, anything.
Nah,
like,
see, I run a whole economy operation. So it's like, I give you the towels, I give you the
Gotcha.
floor mats for the bathtubs and stuff like that. But no, you got to bring your own drinks and own stuff like that, because at the end of the day, at least if I'm going to grow there, I haven't grown there yet because right now with 4 units, I have to be very cost effective. I got to manage my costs correctly. It's like running a small little business. This is crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to ask a question. So the units you have, so you say you have a house. Now, the other units, like, are they condos? Or you
No,
No, it's just regular apartments. Yeah.
And then where do you kind of like general area you have them located at? Or like, is your apartments next to the crib? Is the crib all the way over there?
Nah,
Is the
so-
apartments over here?
Yeah, so my apartments are in
in
like the Humble Park, Logan Square.
Square area. They literally are on the dividing line of the Humble Park, Logan Square, like kind of dividing line. But my house is in the south suburbs in Calumet City, which you wouldn't think that it would be a big Airbnb market in Calumet City, which was
I
kind of
wouldn't.
nerve-wracking as I was buying the house, trying to rationalize these payments that I would have to pay for the next 30 years. But turns out Hammond, Indiana has a lot of Airbnb traffic. So it's like people...
It's right
Exactly.
Yeah.
They trying to get over there, or they got somebody in Dalton or nearby, South Holland, those things. So it kind of been really keeping up with my city, and actually doing better at times than my city apartments. But the city is like, it's got the stronghold though.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
City
So-
gonna grab you like, what you
Yeah,
need?
but the only thing about the city is that's very important, and I will say this on the record just so anybody listening can know. With the city, you have a lot more regulations that you have to get around. So you have to get your licenses. You got to get a license. You got to get one permit, like one license to run your Airbnb. But if you want to have more than one Airbnb, you got to get a shared housing. It's like a license to use the licenses. It's crazy. But if you're outside of the city, depending on what city you're in, Calumet City, it's just post and go. Simple
what
as making a
license do you
Facebook
need?
account.
Yeah, so how would you obtain a license? Like, what would you have to do?
So they have the BACP. It stands for Business and Consumer Protections or something like that. Or, some with the city is they have like a small business department. You can either apply online for the license, is $150, or you can go downtown and you can actually go early enough so you don't get caught up in the line, and you can just speak to a person, fill out your application there, and they'll let you know if you approved. They should let you know if they approved or you approved or not right then and there, depending on how busy they are. But after
Wait,
you,
so it doesn't take a long time to do it? There's an expedited method?
well, when I go online, it usually takes about a week. But when I went straight to the city, they let me know right then and there. I paid for my stuff, paid in the line, waiting in the line. They gave me my certificate, and simple as that.
Do you need a B&B before you get that certificate?
See, you need it before. So these are all the things that you got to realize that you're risking, because once you sign that, it's like you sign that lease, right? You say,
Yeah.
I got the property. The landlord ain't waiting for you to get all this stuff. So you got to decide if it's worth it, if you want to risk paying this man his money, because in order to get that license, you got to show them proof of that you live there. You got to have the lease. So, but they may decline you, based off whatever they feel like. It's all a gamble, but it's worth it. It's ways to ensure that you get approved, but this is the process that you got to go through.
Gotcha.
Like when we first bought our first unit, we didn't get approved until the day that we finished designing it. And it was crazy because we was sweating. We was like, man, we done spent all this money. We went broke. Our bank accounts, I'm talking about every bank account, zero. You know what I'm talking about?
That's how it was with
Yeah.
the Turo, man.
And it's like we still ain't got approved. It's over with. We either gonna have to get rich or die trying because we finna post this. We finna post this Airbnb, but then it got approved at the last second. I'm talking about you can't make this stuff up.
That's wild that you would take a risk like that, and most people ain't even willing to go all in. It's like
Yeah.
you made a decision, like,
Yeah.
you gonna do this, even if you fail at doing it,
Yeah.
you're just gonna do it, type
Yeah.
of thing. And I really respect that at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like,
that's the YouTube side that they
But
don't tell you.
see, that's because I had prior business experience with the studio. I had already paid my dues with the studio. I knew what it was and what it wasn't, what I was getting myself into, as far as the risk of entrepreneurship.
Yeah. And you mentioned you and a partner started in the beginning. You and that partner still to this day is doing the Airbnbs?
Mm-mm. So what ended up happening was he ended up deciding that it wasn't for him. So I ended up doing a buyout of his half of the business at that time. So I paid him out in monthly installments, and once I got done, then I took over everything and just kept expanding. So I ended up actually going from that first unit. Before I got any other units in that building, I bought my house, and that was a whole process in itself.
Yeah. How you get that house? Zero now?
No, I definitely use FHA, so
FHA?
it's pretty much the
Yeah.
closest you're gonna get to zero
Yeah.
down. You know what I'm saying? But nah, man, that house, another thing you can't make up, bro. Like, it was like January, and I had a car, I had a Buick, silver Buick Regal.
Yeah.
Driving it, I got cut off by a semi truck, totaled the car. You know, right? So
Do you
that's
have gap insurance?
nope. So that's
Didn't cover
just
that.
that's just a piece of information, right? So after that, it's like, damn, I don't got no car. So it's like, what am I gonna do? My homie had just became a realtor, and he's like, well, apply for a house. And I'm like, you know, he actually told me that a year before I applied and got denied because I was like, I ain't, you know, I'm a regular guy. Like I can't buy no house. Like when am I gonna buy? Where am I gonna get the money for that? You know what I'm saying? But a year later, which was exactly 1 year after I got denied, and they told me basically fix your credit, do your taxes, apply next year. When I crashed the car, it was just so happened to be that time where it was like 1 year later. So I applied. And they like, yeah, bro, you good, but we see you got this car, you know, that you owe $9,000 on. If you can find some way to pay that off, you know, we'll get you in the dough.
Yeah.
Luckily, State Farm, because I totaled the car, had just paid the entire car off, G. I got like $100 check that I could put in my pocket. So when they said that, I'm like, nigga, you mean to tell me I'm about to buy a house right now? You know what I'm saying? Sent them. They like, welcome to the club, you know? And that's how legitimately, because of a car crash, I was able to buy my house. You cannot make this stuff up, G.
So hold on. When it came to the rentals, did you have to show, okay, it's just how much I'm earning just to rent that place
Apartment?
out? Yeah.
Now, yeah, short answer is yeah. But another key piece of information that I used in finding my properties was I went to see, like how you was talking about the downtown units and stuff. I didn't go to any of those. I went to people where the owner of the building was the person putting the listing up, so that I can shoot. When I meet with that person, I'm talking straight to the decision maker. I don't got to talk to the property manager. I don't have to talk to the business manager. I don't got to talk to somebody who could relay the messages. Yeah, some guy I met today asked me. No, I'm finna talk directly to the decision maker. So yes, I had to show that information, but once you get in front of another human, you get to level with humans. You know, you get to tell them like, look.
So how did you
know?
So like, the owner was posting up the Airbnbs themselves?
No, the owner posted the list, the unit.
The unit list.
Where?
And where was the unit at?
Where he posted?
Like
Online?
Oh, he posted
Facebook
on Zillow.
Marketplace,
Yeah,
Zillow?
no, he posted on Zillow like he's a regular landlord trying to get tenants. And I went on Zillow to find landlords and pitch them, you know?
Did you? Well, you said the first one responded. Do you
Well-
be messaging hundreds of them, or?
Nah, man, I ain't at that time. I just did like maybe about like 15, you know, like I set up the interviews and went to go meet with these people and really, you know, pitched them, and a lot of them said no, but he just so happened to say yes.
That's what's up.
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
Excuse me. You sound like a pretty lucky guy.
Well, I wouldn't say it's luck though.
But
I
I'm
would
just
just
saying
say.
through all the situations you kept going. You
Oh,
you
now
didn't give
what I
up.
would say is I'm very blessed.
Yes,
You know, I'm
absolutely.
very blessed. A lot of this stuff I wouldn't like. I was just like fortunate, you know, to be at the right place at the right times. You know, I am
Yeah.
blessed in that way. Like legitimately, I
Some
wouldn't have
people
a
would've
house if I
stopped.
wouldn't have crashed my car.
Yeah.
You know, but some people might stop. But that's what I was telling you about. You know, what you trying to go down with the music. That's kind of what I achieve. That's what kind of where I excel at. Like where everybody's threshold is, I find a way to keep going. And if you able to do that, that's the degree of success that you're gonna have in that, you know, in that space you're trying to do.
Yeah.
You know, you just got to be able to keep going. Like, I don't feel sorry for myself with things, you know? Like,
Absolutely.
when I spent all my money and I spent the first night in that Airbnb and I knew in 30 days I had to somehow produce that rent, it ain't like, I hope I can do it. It's, nah, man, I got to do this. I got to get tomorrow is a new day for me to spend 24 hours figuring out how to, you know, and that's kind of extreme for some people. But
Respect.
at this point, that's just the way my life is set up.
Yeah.
You know, you got a choice. You can make it. Anything is possible.
Yeah, I
like
typically
that.
say like things typically work themselves out. There's good seasons and then there's slow seasons, but for the most part, you put yourself in the corner where it's got to work out. Even with
Yeah.
my business plans, my vision board, you know, our common goals, it's like, yeah, it's cool, but the plan ain't gonna work unless we work it. Period.
Yeah.
I know for a fact
Yeah.
it's gonna work. It's
Exactly.
worked for other people. I ain't reinventing the wheel. You know
Exactly.
what I'm saying? So that's how you can make those calculated risks that doesn't really seem or feel like a risk.
Exactly.
It's kind of interesting you use your own money and then it'll probably be easier with like business credit and everything. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm sure you probably found out about business credit and then you use
Yeah,
other
I ain't gonna
people's
lie.
money.
I ain't tap all the way into that yet, but I definitely know about it. But it's like with that, a lot. What I found is, a lot of times you gotta have good credit yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah,
But it's
yeah.
like, how many people got that?
Yeah, so they all got to
It's all type
tap
of
in,
obstacles. Yeah,
fix your credit
you
first.
got it.
and-
It's things you
Yeah.
gotta do.
Mr. 850.
Yeah, and even how we all met, bro. Like we all met at that no tail event. It's like all of us had to make the decision to go to that place to find it worth going and making a new connection, and that's why we in this room. That's literally what it's about. So when it comes to any of this, whether it's Turo, Airbnb, it's all about getting in front of that next person. If this person say no, are you gonna stop or you gonna get in front of the next person? That's all it's about. If you keep doing that every day, eventually you're going to have an Airbnb deal. You're going to have a Turo car. You're going to have whatever it is you're looking for if you look for it long enough. That's all it really is.
It's a marathon. not a
Exactly. It's a marathon. Never-ending marathon, too.
Exactly. So yeah, we're gonna wrap it up.
sprint. Yes, for sure.
Get the people's IGs. Let them know what you're thinking.
Yeah, so where can we follow you? On Instagram?
All of
You
my
gonna go
social
around?
media on any social media platform is GK Harmony. I post all the trials and tribulations that I go through on a daily basis on my YouTube page, so you can look that up if you want. I post all the things that people don't want you to see, and that's me. I also post my music there too, so everything's in one place.
Follow.
Y'all know y'all can find me at Brightmade XI, other platforms, XI Productions, XI Enterprise, and XI Bright. So, you guys catch me wherever. It's always Project XI. And we going to get all 11 shows done regardless.
Okay.
Y'all know you can find me CBO Films or Delete King CBO. Come tap in. Your credit not right. Come get it fixed. We gonna get you right. Get you to 850 and get you 100K in funded like it's nothing.
Oh, you the businessman, huh? Check that out. Where can we follow you?
You can follow me at Khalil Devon _ that's KHALIL Devon DEVON_.
Empress Bay 850.
And y'all already know where y'all can tap in. Appreciate y'all if y'all made it to the end. Please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Drop your comments down below. Let us know what we can improve on. Let us know your opinion. If you learned something valuable, some actionable steps.
Which you will.
Tap in. We now officially on Spotify and Apple Music, all that good stuff. You can listen to us. Just support the channel as we continue to grow. You see the team is growing. We're more official. We got lights now. But yeah, DeleteKing850.com, DeleteKing850 on Instagram, YouTube, holla back and tap in if you need some business funding. We got you. Getting everybody to 6 figures in business funding so you can support your business. Appreciate y'all.